first thing I want to do is discuss a little bit of the past. And looking back to your first year with the team was the first year of the team since the 70s. And, I feel like every person who decided they wanted to be on the swimming program last year took a chance because it was something brand new. When you look back at it, how would you assess that first year, whether it be from a personal level or the team perspective?
Oh my goodness, it was so wonderful, so exciting. I know most of us were freshmen. We had a few upperclassmen, but none of us really knew each other, so it was all brand new for us. And we did have a club swim team, but this, like you just said, was the first time we had a real varsity swim team. So it was all brand new. We were walking in with the new coach, but as soon as we got to campus and as soon as we got to hang out with each other, it was just this immediate spark. And we all knew that we were going to have great chemistry and we were going to have a great year. And we were all super excited to get into the pool and start training immediately.
Do you feel like because of the uniqueness of that situation of being a brand new program, that it was maybe easier as a freshman to get acclimated as opposed to someone who's coming into a well-established program?
Oh, for sure, for sure. We were able to start that culture and really cultivate it. And even the upperclassmen too, they were wonderful team leaders. And we all got along so well. We were able to work practices and encourage each other constantly all the time. So, and just with the swimming aspect, we were able to get better and faster because we were all comfortable with each other and we were all having so much fun in practice, and we were able to help each other study in the classroom as well.
It certainly doesn't hurt that everyone's kind of in the same boat, if you will, that at that point of the program's future. Do you feel like anything from that experience, the beginning of the year and the first practices and things like that, can translate to this year, even though it's certainly not your normal year for anybody with COVID? But does anything from that translate? Because a lot of times sophomores, they feel a little more comfortable because they had their freshman year. But this year's sophomores, it's almost like, for some of them, it's brand new or it's even worse than being a freshman. How do you feel about that?
It's definitely hard, again, trying to figure out how to restudy and try and get to know everyone all over again. But because we are all coming in, all knowing that we are on the same swim team and we are all going through it together, it is a lot easier to relate to each other and get together and talk about it. And that's one of the most important things we can do is get together and talk and spend time together when we can. We do have study hours again, which is good, and we implemented that last year for the first time too. So we're able to go in with our freshmen and study with all of our classes together. We need 5 hours. So that's something that we can kind of redo and take from last year that we can also improve on with ourselves and the freshmen.
When it comes to practices, I just mentioned when we started the interview that you guys are one of the teams, along with golf, cross country, equestrian, and tennis, where things are pretty much the same regarding practice times and everyone can be there together. So take us through what that looks like for those that may not know what swimming practice looks like anyway. By the way, not to mention you doubled your team in terms of size. So if anything else, it's at least more crowded, right?
It is, it is. So to give you a little bit of background, last year we practiced at night. We were 7 to 9, and we had about 9 lanes in the pool, and we had about 6 swimmers in each lane. And now we still are able to take a bus over there, but we do carpool and we wear our masks to social distance and spread out a little bit. And now we're spread out over 20 lanes of the pool. And there are 3 to 4 per lane. And when we get to the pool, we keep our masks on until it's time to jump in. And we just have little plastic bags. We put our masks in on the pool deck so they don't get wet. But we're still able to social distance in the lanes, and we're still able to train, which is fantastic. And it's such a blessing that we're able to still do that.
For those that are not as initiated with the processes that you just mentioned regarding still swimming but abiding by protocols, uh, do you feel like that the information was given to you guys in a clear and concise way? Like it was pretty easy to understand that Yes, once you're in the pool, this is how it is, but as soon as you get out or right before you get in, you still have to have that mask on. Do you feel like that process has been um, clearly stated by your coaches and administration?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And it definitely was. Coach reminds us every day, wear a mask, wear a mask. We want to be here. And everyone really wants to, abide by those rules because we do want to keep practicing. And most importantly, we do want to stay on campus and we want to be here at Lynchburg. It's our home. So we want to keep everyone safe and we want to keep ourselves safe. So it was absolutely clearly stated, and we all make sure that we follow those rules.
What are knowing that there's still uncertainties? I mean, obviously, you guys are still practicing, but there won't be anything until January. And in terms of meets and stuff like that, and like sanctioned meets, um, even then, we're still kind of in the back of our mind, like, okay, are we really going to start in January? So, what are the team goals? What do you guys feel are appropriate goals to set, knowing that the future is still a bit foggy?
Definitely staying positive and optimistic. We want to be here, and we're so excited to, and we want to get to know each other better. And just being in practice definitely lifts our spirits so much. But we still want to train like we are going to have a championship season. Right now, ODAX in February is still on. So we want to get ready for it, and we want to train like it's still going to happen. So keeping up that positivity and training hard, and I think we're going to make it there.
Well, I do too. I'm glad to hear that. I think that's the right attitude to have for all of us, and I think it leads us into my next question regarding you personally on the team, in terms of aspirations. What are those for you on a personal level, and do you feel maybe even though you're a sophomore that there is a little bit of extra leadership weight put on you and your other sophomore teammates because you don't have those group of seniors? Like you guys kind of have already been through the gauntlet, so now you're responsible for giving the freshmen a heads up on what's happening.
hmm So, me personally, I do have lots of goals, especially my times for hopefully in February our championship meet. But I do have a little story about leadership on the team. So our women were able to break up into a big group and have a little team bonding session. And we sat around in a circle, did some yoga together, and we talked about all of our goals and our aspirations, and we talked about our opportunities and our values and also our threats to the team. And everyone went around and said some really wonderful, great things that were very impactful and, brought up the morale of the whole women's team. So afterwards, I was in a group and I talked to some of the upperclassmen, some of the seniors, and some of the freshmen. And we were all kind of looking at each other like, man, everyone had some great things to say. And everything that they said was so important and so noteworthy. So we kind of thought, well, you know, even though one of the goals for this year was to have two or three designated people to step up as, that leader in the leadership role, um, we kind of thought, well, even though we want all of the freshmen to look up to, us as sophomores and some of our seniors and juniors, I also hope that my class can look up to the freshmen because those girls are just amazing and they had such great things to say and they have great characters. So we kind of thought that, even though we wanted initially to have a few people set up as leaders or step up as leaders, we thought, we work so much better as a whole group, kind of like King Arthur and the knights at his round table, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so everybody had such great things to say, and we want everyone to feel like their voices can be heard all the time, and they have just as much of an impact as the leaders on the team, and everything that they say is just as valid and just as important, and everyone can be a leader, no matter what class they're in. So I don't know, we just kind of thought about that, and we want to bring that up at our next team meeting to the coaches and see what they have to say.